show where we go live and then everyone goes quiet.
Okay.
So we need to start doing a pre-show so that
Right.
people can hear the actual conversation before we start playing the game, before everybody gets quiet.
Well,
when you
Facebook
said
is live.
share, I thought maybe just share a story about our life.
Eileen, you could totally do that now if you want. Now's your time.
you would.
Just, I mean, no, I guess
Everybody's most.
I brought my stuffed turtle. This is Cole.
I like that.
Yeah.
Is that your spirit totem?
Yes. I'm super good at trivia.
Just so you know, he won't be able to answer questions for you. I specifically booked the two of you. You're not allowed a third teammate. That was part of the rules for tonight.
I'm a friend.
All right, we're live on all three, and we've got 60 seconds.
Awesome. Thank you very much. 60 seconds. All right. Dead silence.
We're concentrating.
Everybody's thinking about what they're going to say in 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Everybody's in awe of you. They're nervous. They're impressed. They love you.
The top
That's
bunk,
never happened in 34 years. That has never happened. Tell me you don't need to start tonight.
the top bunk collapsed, and Chuck crushed Brad. We gotta find this.
Straight out of Step Brothers.
I know we're joking, but I did have dinner with Chuck's parents tonight.
I put my balls on his drums, so.
Delicious.
Yep.
Without
Sounds
Chuck,
great.
was Chuck
15.
there?
Just by yourself?
Thank you.
You
15.
know, no, Chuck was also there.
Oh, okay.
I was there.
Although I would have been welcome, even if he weren't.
Yeah. Well, I hope everybody is full and ready to
3,
go. And do you want to know
2,
why?
Why?
I'll tell you why.
Please tell us.
Yeah.
Because it's Tuesday night. You totally cried during the WandaVision finale, and you're starting to think you published your pandemic leadership book a smidge too soon. This is Quarantine.
Hooray!
Everybody.
Is there a theme song?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
playing right now.
Dancing.
Oh, okay.
You're not dancing along to the theme song?
Oh yeah, no, we don't. Yeah, that's right. We forgot. We don't hear that.
I can't catch the beat.
I've never caught a beat in my life.
We add it in post. Well, hello, and welcome everyone once again to Quarantine, the game show where tonight we prove two heads are better than one. I am your host, Chris Iannucci, and I am so thrilled to have you all with us this evening, as I am thrilled to have our teams with us this evening for our first ever. This is a historic moment in Quarantine. We are doing our Dueling Duos edition of Quarantine with two teams who are best pals, and they're here to entertain you, our spectacular audience. So let's meet them right now. Joining us from Cincinnati, Ohio, we have the wonderfully funny Two Sketchy Dames. And playing tonight on Two Sketchy Dames, we have Allison and we have Eileen. Give a big wave for the folks at home. And Two Sketchy Dames, how are you doing this evening?
Oh, we're doing great. Yeah.
I've been drinking since noon.
At the very least.
Even better, I was just telling Eileen before the show started, I was just excited that other people showed up dressed for the occasion like I do every week. I think this might be the first time, but we are so grateful to have you on the show tonight, and we are looking forward to see what you have in store for us. But let's take a moment to meet your competitors.
Sure.
The other duo of tonight's dynamic dueling duos. Now, everybody these days has a podcast, but these two were doing it before it was cool. Joining us from the great state of Rhode Island, the hosts of the Chuck and Brad podcast, the appropriately named Chuck and Brad. Say hi to the folks at home.
Wow, I'm Chuck. I'm the Chuck of Chuck and Brad.
I'm Brad. I'm the Brad of Brad and Brad.
All right. Well, how are you two doing this evening on the East Coast?
We're full of pork chops, shake and bake.
Yes.
Shake and
They were
bake.
delicious.
Even better. I hope that's enough brain fuel to get you through tonight's game, and we can't wait to see what you have planned for us this evening as well. And tonight we also have a very special guest who is joining us, and for those of you who don't know, I actually have a background in culinary arts, and my best friend when I was in culinary school, he actually went on to make a name for himself as a celebrity chef, and I begged and pleaded, and he finally was gracious enough to come and join us on the show this evening to do something special for our contestants and our audience tonight. So would you please welcome, he's going to say a quick hello, Chef Tomato Spritz.
Hi.
That's right, Chris. It's your old pal, celebrity chef Tomato Spritz. I gotta say, happy to be here. Fully in love with the concept. I've been watching the whole time. Love your show. This guy was the class clown at culinary school back when we were roommates. We used to call him Mr. Pink because a talent like his is very rare.
Oh.
Tomato. Oh my God. Well, it's so glad to see you, and I'm really, really thrilled to see what you have in store for us later on in the show. And we're going to get to you in a little bit. But of course, there would be no show without the other end of my dynamic duo, my better half, my brother, the guy who keeps this show oiled to perfection. Al Iannucci. Please say hello to Al, my brother.
How's it going, Chris?
We're doing good, and that's a huge round of applause. All right, Al, we're doing great. How are you tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. It actually went around. It was pretty great to watch. I was very. Thank you for the applause.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Well, you deserve it for everything that you do to keep the show looking as fantastic as it does. So thank you, and we will touch base with you later on in the show as well.
Good luck, teams.
All right. Well, for those of you who have never seen the show before, first of all, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We know you're going to have a fantastic time, but some of you might be sitting there saying, Chris, sure, it looks fantastic, but how does it all work? Well, calm down. I'm going to explain that to you. In front of me, I have a series of lovingly handcrafted artisanal trivia questions and categories that were penned by myself and our staff here at Quarantine, the game show. I'm going to give our two teams these questions, and we give them an opportunity to answer. If they can answer the question in the allotted time, they get the points. If they get the question wrong, or if they run out of time, that means the opposing team has an opportunity to steal for half the amount of points. Now, along the way, we also have some surprises thrown in there and the additional games that we have prepared to try to shake up our two teams. We're going to see how they handle those, and we'll explain those as we get to them. But most importantly, throughout the show tonight, we're going to be needing you, yes you, our wonderful audience at home, to get in the chat and type some things in there for us to help our teams out and to keep the show moving along, starting right now with our first audience suggestion. So get those fingers ready, get in that chat bar, and here's what I need from you. I need a suggestion of a fact that you would definitely know about your best friend. Something that you would expect your friend to know about you, or something that you would automatically assume that friends would know about each other. So give us as many of those as you can come up with. We're gonna need a bunch of them, but for right now, let's get those moving in the chat. And we're gonna start with our first category tonight. Now, obviously the biggest news of the weekend was the passing in the House and the Senate of the COVID relief package, which is a long time coming. It will definitely be beneficial to us as a whole to help try to rewrite what's been going on with the coronavirus pandemic. But it did take a little bit longer than people were expecting it to make it as far as it has. It still hasn't been signed into law yet, but hopefully tomorrow it will be moving on its way. Part of the reason for the holdup was the fact that the bill itself is 600 pages long. And as some people may know, by the time it got to the Senate, it was required that it be read aloud, all 600 pages, by clerks in the Senate floor, and the entire thing took 10 hours just to get from beginning to end, which means that it is the most anticipated piece of writing to end up boring its audience, at least until George R.R. Martin releases his next novel.
Hello.
Come at me, nerds. Well, if you're going to stand there for 10 and a half hours and read something, it might as well be something a little bit more entertaining than a Senate bill. So we're going to quiz our contestants tonight on some other pieces of literature that go far beyond 600 pages, but are definitely more entertaining in our first category tonight that we're calling page turners.
Ooh.
So these are all questions about incredibly long novels. And we flipped a coin before the show got started tonight. And Two Sketchy Dames, you are going to get the first question in this category. Now, round one, all questions are worth 100 points. Stealing gets you 50. Y'all ready for this?
So ready.
Yeah. Christopher, I just want you to know that you called it artisanal. So now I think of this as charcuterie questions.
Very
Sounds
nice.
delicious.
And it is my specialty.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, moving on. This is our first question for 100 points. This 1,200-page novel, originally intended to be published as one single volume, was instead split into 3 and published between 1954 and 1955. It has since sold over 150 million copies worldwide, and in 2003, it was named Britain's best novel of all time by the BBC.
Are we allowed to chit chat? Can we?
Oh yeah, of course. This is your time to discuss.
Don't look at us.
Don't.
Can I say stuff to throw them off?
No, but you'll get a chance if they get it wrong, though.
Harry Potter.
Is Lord of the Rings? I mean,
It's a
I mean, that's
Cheesecake
fine
Factory
with-
menu.
Yeah, it's either Lord of the Rings or Atlas Shrugged in 3 parts.
I think she was German.
Ayn Rand, I believe, is German. So
German, yeah. And yeah, so I'm gonna. I mean, do you feel confident? I mean, I feel there was more than 3 parts. There's like the Silmarillion and the
And the bloating of the 5 armies.
right.
Love
and
Samaril. Great comic.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yes, and there are 3. Well, there's 3 movies that people care about.
Yeah.
The other movies they don't care about.
I mean,
All right, we got a few more seconds, and I do need an answer from you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Final
well,
answer.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, final answer
The Lord of the Rings
Lord of the Rings
trilogy.
is correct for 100
Good
points.
job.
Trilogy,
Good job,
not
Sketchy
trilogy.
Dames.
Either way, it is Lord of the Rings. All right, great job. Over to Chuck and Brad. This one's yours for 100 points. This novel, penned in 1605 and clocking in at 976 pages, is considered by many to be the first work of modern satire, with its tale of a romance-loving wannabe knight and his hapless sidekick. What is the name of the novel?
The Cheesecake Factory menu.
Yes!
Just gonna keep going back to that well over and over again.
Do you have any idea what it is?
I do. I do. I 100% know this. It's modern satire. It's the first issue of the.
First issue.
What do you think it is?
All right, think John
Get
Lithgow.
out of my
Ooh, John Lithgow. Okay.
I also have a cat on my lap right now, not helping me with the answer.
All right, Brad says Third Rock from the Sun.
No, I
Third
didn't.
Rock from the Sun.
I
No.
certainly did not. John Lithgow did a lot of work. It's Pet
Don
Sematary.
Quixote?
It's the Man of La Mancha. Yeah.
Yeah, Man of La Mancha.
Final answer?
Cody, that one by Cervantes. That one. I read
The
it.
one by Miguel Cervantes, Don Quixote, the Man of La Mancha, is correct for 100 points. Great job, Chuck and Brad.
We're always tilting
All right.
the windmills.
Always tilting at windmills.
Always.
All right, back over to Two Sketchy Dames. This is yours. As
No,
much
those
a
were
novel,
the 2 answers I knew. We're not asking anymore.
you want to stop the category right now?
Yeah, we can move on.
Oh, but there's still much more planned in this game. All right. As much a novel as a literary endeavor on the part of the reader, this 1,300-page iconic masterwork detailing the Napoleonic era in Russia captures the total effects of armed conflict on armies, aristocrats, and families. What is the name of the novel?
Listen, I think it's War and Peace.
I think it's War and
Take
Peace.
9 days to read. Well, good.
Yeah, I'll go with
Final-
that. Yeah.
Final
Warren
answer?
Beatty? Your final answer is
Yeah.
Warren Beatty?
Talks about war.
Warren-
And then I'm guessing War and Peace.
Warren Buffett was the answer that we were looking at.
Ah.
I'm sorry. War and Peace is correct for 100 points. Great job. All right, back over to Chuck and Brad. This one is yours. The original edition of this apocalyptic moral fable by Stephen King was published in 1978 with a total of 828 pages, but apparently that wasn't enough. So in 1990, he released a complete and uncut version, bringing the total up to almost 1,200. What was the name of the novel?
Is it The Stand or the Mist, Brad?
Well, The Mist is a novella that's about 100 pages long.
Yeah.
Not The Mist.
And?
Shawshank Redemption.
Banter a little bit before we decide on an answer.
All right.
You have a minute.
My Stephen King knowledge.
All right. You know, in this chat, you look like a hill that came to life. I don't know why.
Like I'm background from Super Mario World.
yeah.
That's fine.
Most men a minute is too much time.
Yeah.
Let me
I
think.
think you do.
Rules is rules. I gotta let him vamp.
It's funny because I know Stephen King stuff, and I mean I know of them. The only one I can think of is The Stand that fits into.
Yeah,
this
it's 100% The Stand. That is our final
Okay.
answer.
Final answer. It is 100% The Stand for 100 points. Thank you very much, Brad.
Yeah.
He's just showboating. He's just like a
little
Catholic
little
toy.
bit. Yeah,
I
that's
said
a
it
little bit
first.
of a-
That cat
Nice.
can't help you.
She's not. She's snoozing with
Yeah.
claws dug deeply into my thighs right now.
Eileen, if you get a support turtle, then Brad gets to keep the cat. That's how this works. We're giving you each get one spirit animal. All right, last question of the category. This one goes over to Two Sketchy Dames. This is yours. This novel, penned by Victor Hugo in 1883, is a fictional tale set in medieval Paris. However, Hugo uses much of the novel's 940 pages as a way to make contemporary readers more aware of the value of the city's Gothic architecture. What is the name of the novel?
I mean, the Hunchback?
The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
No, like, It's about Notre Dame and like
Yes.
why we should care. No
How
one
do
cares
you-
about Notre Dame.
No one cared. No one
No
cared
one
until Esmeralda had an intense, cartoonishly sexy time, and
Yeah.
and
They
then
just use it as a bathroom, like, and not
Yeah.
even.
that villain, I gotta say, is super scary. Still gives me nightmares. That priest guy.
Well, and I think he's related to like the judge from Sweeney Todd. Like they could be brother. Like I want to see that spinoff.
Oh yeah, and maybe Iago
Just-
is like their quirky, nosy neighbor.
There's probably a whole comic book style multiverse between, Victor Hugo's novels and all of that. But
Yeah,
it sounds like you're going with the Hunchback of Notre Dame on that one.
I think so.
Notre Dame.
All right. Well, Hunchback of Notre Dame it is for 100 points. Great job. All right. Well, that's the end of our first trivia category for the game. And for everybody who's watching at home, it is very obvious that these two teams clearly have chemistry. They clearly work well together. They clearly know each other like the back of their hands. But we're going to put some of that to the test in our next game called Buddy System. And here's how this works. We asked you, our audience, for some suggestions as to things that you would expect your friends to know about you or things that you would definitely know about your best friends. So we're going to play a little game where all of our contestants tonight have a piece of paper, something that they can write on to show to the camera. We're going to take some questions from our audience, and we're going to pose those questions to one member on each of the teams. You're each going to get the same question, each team, Chuck and Brad, and Two Sketchy Dames. But one person on each team is going to answer that question, and the other person on the team is going to try and guess to see if they know what their teammate wrote down.
Like
Make sense to everybody? Essentially, yes, but we can't use that for copyright reasons. We're a completely different game show, and I think any similarities and likenesses is just purely coincidental.
Absolutely.
This
All
isn't
right.
$1,000 pyramid. I thought this was
No, it is not. We don't have that budget yet, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But for right now, make sure you have your pens and your papers ready. And Al, if you wouldn't mind, we're going to ask this first question. So Chuck and Eileen, you are going to be answering this question.
Yes.
Brad and Allison, you are going to try to guess what Eileen and Brad have to say. So,
All right.
Al, what is
So
our first question?
We'll start off easy and build. We're gonna go with favorite band.
Okay, so Brad, Eileen, write down what your favorite band is. And Allison? Yes, Eileen?
Point of question. Specifically has to be a band or just favorite musical artist?
Well, if you think that Allison is going to know the answer, you should write that one down.
Okay,
Say
good.
that. Allison will know regardless, I'm assuming. All right, so you're going to write your answer down. Then Allison and Chuck, you're going to write down what you think Eileen and Brad wrote for their answers.
Wait, I'm writing it down, right? First you said Chuck. Me, right? I'm writing it?
Oh, did I get that crossed up? I'm sorry. Brad should be writing the answer. Chuck,
Oh,
you're going to
okay.
guess what Brad wrote.
Okay. All right.
All right. And so, Eileen, Brad, what did you write down for your favorite band / artist?
You should have them
Rosemary
reveal.
Clooney
You should-
and Pearl Jam. Let's see if Chuck and Allison wrote the same things.
Chris,
Hold on.
you should have them reveal who they
Should
think.
have them do it at the same time. Yeah, that would have made sense.
Or
Yeah, I
opposite.
was like,
Yeah.
plus I wrote down my favorite band because you said my name first.
And I just.
All right, so this was the practice round. Al, can we get another question from you?
I like it.
All right.
Solid.
So
Erase.
What I want to know is, did Brad guess my favorite band?
It would have been Blink 182 is what I would have written down.
Yeah.
All right, well, that was a great trial run. Can you tell this is the first time we've ever done dueling duos on this show?
Now.
All right, so we're going to watch that one. We're going to start
Yeah.
over. Brad and Eileen, you were going to answer this question.
I will say though, look at this.
Did right Pearl Jam.
Or So In Sync, which is another band that I like.
All right, Al, can we get another question?
sure, we're gonna go very similar. Favorite musical.
Okay, favorite musical. Eileen and Brad, you were going to answer this question.
Oof.
Chuck and Allison, you were going to try to guess what Brad and Eileen are writing down. Once everybody has an answer,
This is a tough one. This is a really tough one.
all right, everybody got an
I
answer?
want to give you hints right now, and I can't. That would be cheating.
And you're even in the same building.
Yes.
I have two answers, but I'm gonna go with one.
All
Obviously.
right, on the count of 3, you're going to show what you wrote down. We're going to see what matches up. Ready? 3,
Wait, do we
2.
show it? Wait, do we show it and they shout it? Or
No, you're going to show it at the same time. Everybody should have something written down right now.
okay, great.
All right, ready? On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Show those answers. American Idiot, Legally Blonde, and Last 5 Years. So unfortunately, Two Sketchy Dames, you did not score, but Brad and Chuck, that's going to get you 100 points.
Yeah.
We
All
went
right,
to see
now that
American
we have-
Idiot many years ago.
We have such a breadth. We have a breadth of knowledge.
Now that we have figured out the mechanics of this incredibly difficult game, we're going to get another question from Al, except this time we're going to switch, which means Chuck and Allison, you were going to be writing down your answer. Eileen and Brad, you were going to try to guess what Chuck and Allison have written down. All right, Al, what is our next question?
It's going to be who they like and or their crush.
Who they like and or their crush. I kind of have a feeling they're going to know the answers to these, but let's see what they come up with. You might surprise us. Everybody write something down. And let's get those answers up on the count of 3, 2, 1. Show them. All right. Well, it's easy when you've got significant others, but it's still the right answer, which means it's 100 points for each.
I put my girlfriend's younger sister.
Oh, was that it?
Uncomfortable.
Is she watching the show tonight? Because she's not now. She's not anymore. All right. I think we got time for one more. Al, can we get one more question for our teams?
All right. We're going to go with their favorite Will Ferrell movie.
This is Brad's favorite. I'm guessing
We're going to
Brad's
switch
favorite.
back again. Brad and Eileen, you're going to write down your favorite Will Ferrell movie. Chuck and Allison, you're going to try to guess.
Brad, don't let me down.
I'm letting you down. Rest assured.
Oh, God. Here we go.
All right.
Hey,
Everybody got
fiction.
something written down, and let's go. 1, 2, 3. Put them up.
Night at the Roxbury.
Elf Anchorman in the butt.
In the butt, Chris? Is it...
All right. Well, Anchorman definitely scored some points.
Whew, that's in the butt. I never saw that.
It was in the butt. I think it was one of his like darker, like not.
Oh, really?
Films.
Very
It was
dark.
like
Really?
when we
I
watched
don't even know about
Barely
it.
see.
Stranger Than Fiction, then Everything Must Go, then In the Butt. I think that was
Wow.
his trilogy. But that's 100 points for Chuck and Brad. And let's see how the final scores tally up for the end of round 1. That's going to be into that game, end of round 1. And looking at the boards right now, I have Two Sketchy Dames with 400 points.
Yep.
But in a slight lead, I have Chuck and Brad with 500 points.
Correct.
And it is still anybody's game. There's plenty of game to go, but we're going to move into round 2. And first, we're going to take a quick break for a word from one of our wonderful sponsors.
Does it feel like you're in battle and competition with everyone around you? Have you been asked questions that left you searching for answers? Are you a contestant in an online game show? Maybe quarantine, I don't know. Alright, so check it out. I'm on the writing staff. I know all Chris's answers. Text me at this number. Take a screenshot of that real quick. It's real easy. Just hit that print screen button. No snitching. It's $2 an answer, $5 for the final round. I also take Bitcoin. Actually, I prefer. Hey. Don't be a loser.
Nobody write that phone number down. I'm gonna have a word with Nick after the show tonight. But here we are. We're moving on to round 2, and we're gonna get Chef Tomato Spritz out here in just a second. But first, we're gonna kick the round off with another audience get. We're gonna need another suggestion from you, our wonderful audience. So get those fingers moving. And here's a suggestion that we need from you, the viewers at home. We need a suggestion of a type of food that you would order out at a restaurant. Now, we're not looking for a specific dish or a specific menu item. We're looking for a generic main ingredient type of thing that you would order at a restaurant. So anything that you think of that would be just a generic type of food that you could order at a restaurant, get those fingers moving, get them in the chat. We got our monitors in the chat right now. We're going to pull some of your best suggestions, and we're going to use those in a little bit. But first,
My answer would be the waiter.
Oh, saucy. All right. Well, as promised, I am so excited to get him out here to do a little something for you at home and for our contestants tonight. the man is just probably the most upbeat, nicest person I've ever had the privilege of meeting. Please welcome back Chef Tomato Spritz.
Chris, that's so sweet of you to say, so kind. I would say you're the nicest person I met, but of course, you introduced me to my wife, Barbara, who I would have to put in #1 place.
And nobody could blame you. She's a wonderful woman. Well,
Chris,
Tommy, Tomato, I think you
Chris,
have
yeah.
something prepared for our contestants tonight.
I do. I'm going to be showing them how to make my famous onion tart. We're going to start with a pie crust and fill it with onions. And of course, the secret of my onion tart is that I use 1 apple. But first, I'd also like to talk about some of our stranger dishes. You remember we had to take a culinary history class back at the Institute?
I sure do. It was our first class together.
Well, I hope you picked up a thing or two, because tonight's category, excuse me, I had a really bad hiccup there. I think I got a tomato in my throat. Tonight's category is called Fact Chef.
Fantastic.
I'm very excited. All of these will have to do with food and beverage history. Now, Chris, I did, in my excitement, forget to ask you which of these two lovely teams is going to get the first question here.
Well, why don't we give this first question over to Chuck and Brett?
Absolutely. Chuck and Brad. And I'm sorry, but just to keep, I have to chop 8 onions, so I'm just going to get going on these off screen. Chuck and Brad, to start us off, there's nothing more French than haute cuisine. Or is there? Many well-known French foods, including the 5 mother sauces and pastries like macarons, are actually from Italy. Mamma mia! Well, they arrived in France when this Italian aristocrat brought her personal pastry chefs with her when she moved to marry the Duke of Orleans. What's her name?
I love this guy. He's crazy.
Oh, you're crazy, Chuck. I hope it works out with you and your brother's girlfriend, right? Was the answer?
My girlfriend's sister, but my brother's girlfriend's pretty hot too.
You know what? I say get them all in a room. Let's just see what happens.
Hey, I like this guy.
Tomato.
What do you
What
say,
is
Brad?
Barbara gonna say, Tomato?
Barbara's sex positive. She knows. I mean, we've got a good thing going here. Yeah, it's whatever you agreed to in the vows. You know.
I guess that's true. Barbara Spritz.
What do you say, Brad? Macarons.
Chuck, you're the food guy. You're the food writer.
I am a food writer.
Oh,
So what do you know about the mother sauces and cuisine coming from Italy to France?
It's tough. The history is a tough part of.
It sure is.
Yeah, it's a tough part. Food coming to France. Henry VIII.
Mm-hmm.
His wife Margaret Thatcher.
Just to be clear, if you need anybody to repeat the questions, we're happy to do that for you.
Happy to do it. Happy to summarize even, make it a little quicker for you.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was someone. Yeah, summarize it. Do it again one more time.
Sure thing. The short version is, what Italian noblewoman is credited with bringing French cuisine to France?
Yes. Oh man, I don't really know, Brad.
I know one Italian noblewoman.
Who?
It is Catherine de Medici. That's it. That's the extent of my knowledge of Italian noblewomen.
I think all Italian women are noble in their own way, but I understand.
no, I'm
I
not
would
disagreeing.
absolutely agree with you. Are you going with Catherine de Medici?
Yes.
Well, I got good news for you, Bradley. Catherine de Medici is correct. Now, our Kathy was a great gal, and she's also said to have popularized eating with a fork, which most non-Italians at the time considered pretentious. Now, that's nothing to give a fork about.
What do they eat with?
Oh, I think before that they were eating with, like, chopsticks. Oh, my God! Oh,
Are you okay, Tomato?
oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I got a little cut here. Got a little cut on my thumb. I was not watching what I was doing, but it's fine. It's fine. I'm just gonna.
What, Tomato? That looks kind of bad.
Totally fine. It's just a little bit, Chris. Chris, you remember our pastry final? It was much worse then. This is totally fine. It's a nick. It's nothing. I say we just walk right along.
Okay, if you say so, let's crack on. Then
I
yes,
promise you I'd do it. I want to do it. So anyway, this one's gonna go over to Two Sketchy Dames. By the way, hello to Cincinnati.
Hey!
My mother, Romaine Spritz, hails from Finneytown itself, but that's not part of the question. If I may, it's no secret that Japan was in a bit of trouble after World War II. In addition to war debt and the loss of life, a bad rice harvest had left many citizens without food. The U.S. Army imported wheat flour to make bread, but the distribution was slow, which led the Yakuza to stealing that flour to make this dish, a delicacy on the Tokyo black market that we still enjoy today.
Is it ramen? Is it ramen noodles?
Are you asking me or your partner?
I'm asking her.
Sure.
I was so distracted by the blood spurting that I honestly.
I promise you it's fine. I got some pressure on it. It's totally fine.
Yeah, he's a consummate professional.
Thank you very much, Chris. Right back at you.
I have to think it's like a noodle dish of some sort, because you make noodles out of flour, right?
Yes. Until yes. I feel like
I don't
that's
know
fine.
if that's a Japanese noodle. I'm saying now, and now I'm realizing that maybe I'm food racist. I just know it's Asian in descent. But maybe noodles, just noodles, like noodles in general.
May we have the question repeated in truncated form?
I'll shorten it for you. In post-World War II Tokyo, this dish made from flour stolen by the Yakuza was sold on the black market.
Yakuza noodle. Yakuza is a type of noodle.
Oh, great!
I
I was
think
going to say cocaine in a soup. Great.
I'm sorry, so the answer we're going with is Yakuza noodles?
yeah.
I'm sorry to the ladies from Cincinnati. Yakuza noodles is not correct. Because we're going to go back over to Chuck and Brad. Chuck and Brad, in post-World War II Tokyo, this dish, made from flour stolen by the Yakuza, was sold on the black market.
I mean, I could go for some cocaine soup.
Me too, buddy.
Answer.
Who couldn't?
So
I-
and peppy.
It would not surprise me if Allison was correct originally, and the answer is ramen. Chuck, what do you think?
I mean, this was popularized here or in general.
In Tokyo, post-World War
Tokyo.
II.
See, so that would mean that ramen didn't exist before that? Doesn't make sense as a question.
That wasn't
Brad?
popular. I mean, it's weird because I think about like what Japanese foods do I know, and the answer is not very many.
I mean, with
Well, you will have a
flour.
couple more seconds,
cheese.
then I do need an answer
A
from you.
couple of seconds here.
I, th-
I
I
would
think ramen
go with
noodles.
ramen then because I can't think of another flour-based thing.
Yeah.
So we're going with ramen?
Yep.
Good news, ramen is correct.
Oh,
Probably
All right, great job, and that's a
That's
steal, so that's
college
100
food
points.
You made when you were down to your last dime. But in post-war Japan, it was a delicacy. Rationing laws banned food stalls from operating, making it a crime to eat ramen. Luckily, those laws were lifted in 1950, a gift to the poor and the stoned alike, the whole world over.
And interestingly enough, cocaine soup still very much illegal.
Chris, I'm
I
sorry.
don't know where.
I just got a little squirt there. I think my
What's
wound
that?
is broken back up.
Oh, sorry.
Totally
Yeah,
fine, Chris, it's totally fine. It's, you know, you remember we learned safety first, so I've got some Band-Aids right here. I'm just gonna, real quick. Okay, hang on there.
Tomato, I just if you need to take a break, if you
Chris,
we can
totally
end
fine.
the
I'm
segment.
gonna get a Band-Aid real quick. Let me just open the package here. Oh, God. Oh, God.
oh, it's inside.
Okay, okay.
Tomato, you don't have to carry on with this. I feel like you've done enough.
Chris, I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine. I promise you. I promised you, my old friend, that I would do this show, and I'm going to follow through on that promise. All right?
Okay,
Must
sure.
go on. You're right.
You have another show must go on. You have another question for us?
Absolutely. Chuck and Brad, this is going to stay with you. Who doesn't love food that entertains? In medieval Europe, entremets or subtleties were elaborate displays of food that took the shapes of knights, castles, and even once the city of Jerusalem. Now, perhaps the most interesting thing, these dishes often involved what live animal baked right into the pastry?
Humans.
Live animal baked into the pastry.
Live animal baked right into that pastry.
Human pie.
If dragons were baking them, maybe it would be humans.
Well, yeah, dragons. You put a dragon inside a pie, and it cooks it from the inside out.
Ah, there you
Not to
go.
put a rush on this, fellas, but it is kind of gushing here.
So sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, the nursery rhyme, Chuck. 4 and 20 blackbirds baked into a
I was
pie.
gonna say it's gonna be poultry, right?
Yeah, it's got to be a bird of some sort. Like just birds. I would hope would be specific enough. Blackbirds slightly more specific.
I wonder. I mean, blackbirds, is that a real thing? I don't know if it's maybe like hen, or like chicken in general.
I think
I think
you
just
and
birds.
also Tomato only have a couple of seconds, so we're gonna need
Birds.
an answer from you.
Moving. Yeah.
Birds.
We'll go with birds? Well, sing a song at sixpence. The answer is birds. The birds were put into the already baking pies and pastries so that they would fly out as soon as the dish was cut into, because, of course, there's nothing more appetizing than eating with terrified birds sitting directly in front of you. Now,
Tomato, that's a wonderful fact, but
I'm just gonna, real quick, I'm just gonna cut up that apple for the tart, and we're gonna keep moving
you
while
don't
Be
have to
careful,
keep
bud.
moving on. I feel like
Totally
you know,
fine. Now there
He's
comes
good.
a time in every. This is for the two sketchy dames. There comes a time in every great meal when the check comes and shows. Okay, it's fine. The check comes and shows. Now it's
Tomato.
totally fine, Chris. It's fine.
Oh, okay, all right. If you say so, yes. All right, carry
One
on.
of the earliest of these food receipts, or food or beverage, I should say, comes to us from the Sumerian city of Ur in 2050 BCE, and it details the sale of 5 silas of what?
I think you might need to give us a succinct version of that.
Absolutely. The earliest food or beverage receipt is from ancient Sumeria and lists the sale of 5 silas of what?
5
Okay,
what?
a sila is a
Sorry,
unit of measurement.
Sumerian. It's just a unit of measure.
Oh,
What were they
Sure.
measuring?
we know that from school. Beer?
Sorry?
Eileen, do you think perhaps beer?
I don't even know what he's asking.
Not to rush you ladies, but there's a real situation brewing here.
The first,
It seems it.
Chris is totally fine. I got it under control.
the first thing purchased. Like
He's looking
as-
for the first ever recorded receipt was for the sale of this food item in ancient
What food
Sumeria.
item? Yeah.
food
Yeah.
item. But
You say beer, but cocaine soup is what.
Are we going with you? Are we going with cocaine soup? I need an answer. I'm gonna need it pretty quick.
yeah, it's
Yes.
not a food item, so perhaps
I did say food or beverage.
okay, so beer.
Beer.
Lucky, beer is correctly. Specifically, it's the best beer sold by the brewer Alulu. This is a very
Oh.
it's a pretty strict
It's
law
just-
covering
this
the
is-
sale of beer. If
this
a
is
brewer
all very
brought out
fascinating.
without beer,
Yeah.
Tomato, this is fascinating. I feel like you don't have to explain. I feel like you've got more important things to be doing right now.
Chris, I'm absolutely fine. I'm gonna take a lay down, and I just want you to keep the show going. Just keep it going. It's gonna be
I always do. Tomato spritz. Tomato spritz,
That was more
everybody.
than a spritz.
and a big thank you to Tomato Spritz for that wonderful onion tart demonstration. Well, that
Beautiful
definitely put some points on the board. So let's take a quick look at the scores right now. I have Two Sketchy Dames with 600 points,
Correct.
and I have Chuck and Brad still in the lead with 1,000 points.
Yes.
But we're going to give them another opportunity to score a little bit more in round 2 with our next game. Now, obviously, we have chefs on our mind right now, and Tomato Spritz may or may not be our favorite celebrity chef, depending on how that wound works out. But there's always one celebrity chef who I think stands first and foremost in America's mind as the greatest chef of our generation. And of course, I am talking about restaurateur, TV personality, and Monster Energy drink that wished it could be a real boy, Guy Fieri. Now, he has been in the news as of late because his Flavor Town kitchen has been popping up in at least 23 states across the United States. And his whole business model that he has created is, they're called ghost kitchens. So basically what he's doing is moving into restaurant kitchens that have closed down because of the pandemic. And he's offering restaurant employees and also just part-time cooks an opportunity to keep working through the pandemic. Through these shut down businesses. And also, say what you will about him, but he has raised over $20 million in restaurant relief funds to help support small businesses throughout the country. So kudos to Guy Fieri, but that doesn't mean that we're not still going to bust on him a little bit because he's Guy Fieri, right? So we're going to put our contestants to the test and see if they can tell whether or not they know the mayor of Flavortown's own dishes in a game that we're calling Fieri or False.
Oh.
Here's how this works. In front of me, I have a list of menu items that you can find across many of Guy Fieri's fine and fantastic restaurants here in the great old United States of America. Here's the thing, though. Some of them are actual menu items from his restaurants, and some of them are ones that I invented. Now, this is not a team game. I'm going to give each of you the name of a menu item individually, and it's going to be your job to tell me if it is or isn't a real Guy Fieri dish. You're each going to get 2. There's 8 of them total. If you get the question right, you get your team 100 points. Get the question wrong, no points are awarded. Make sense to everybody?
Yes.
All right, great. So, Allison, we're going to start with you. I'm going to give you a menu item. You tell me if this is a real or a fake Guy Fieri food item. Ready to go?
Yeah.
Your menu item is Guytalian fondue dippers. Real or fake?
I'm gonna say real.
They are real for 100 points. Great job.
Wow.
I would eat it.
All right.
Sounds
Off a flip-flop. All right. Moving over to Chuck. Chuck, this one is going to be yours. Real or fake? Can you find this on a Guy Fieri menu? Tatted up turkey burgers.
added up turkey burgers. I like the idea of the flourish. I like the flavor added to it. But does it make any sense? Added up doesn't really make a lot of sense. I'm smelling some rotten fish here. I say nay, false.
Oof. Chuck, doesn't have to make sense to make it on a Guy Fieri menu. That is a 100% real menu item, so no points awarded to your team. All right, let's go over to Eileen. Eileen, this one is yours. Real or fake? Can you find trash can nachos on a Guy Fieri menu?
Trash can nachos?
Trash can nachos. Trash can nachos.
Golly, I hope so.
You're saying that they're real? They are real, Eileen, for 100 points. Great job. Don't know why he calls them that, but I'm sure that they're adequate. All right, let's go over to Brad. Brad, this one is for you. Please tell me if this is real or fake. They're called Wango Tango Taquitos. Real or fake?
I feel like that Wango Tango is a great phrase, but I associate it with not Guy Fieri, but I don't know why. So I'm going to say fake.
Even Guy Fieri is smart enough to not associate his name with Ted Nugent. Those are not real menu items.
That's where I know it from. Ted Nugent.
Fantastic.
Oh,
All right,
my
great job.
rock and
100
roll
points for
role
Chuck
model.
and Brad.
I was thinking of everybody Wang Chung tonight. That's what I was thinking of.
I feel like I'd rather buy a Wang Chung burger than Wango Tango Taquitos. Don't ask me why. But, all right, Allison, we're going to start back over with you. This is your second one. Tell me if this is real or fake. Moving over to the dessert menu. KaluaChocolateBomb.com. Real or fake?
I'm going to say real.
Allison, I'm sorry. I made that one up, so no points are awarded on that one. All right, let's go over to Chuck. Chuck, please tell me if this is a real or fake menu item. The Motley Q sandwich.
Ooh, I like that. It's a barbecue sandwich using the sweat of Tommy Lee. I say
The paleo menu.
I say not real.
Chuck, I'm sorry. This is another real Guy Fieri menu item, the Motley Q sandwich. So no points for Chuck and Brad. All right, let's go over to Eileen. Eileen, this is yours. Real or fake? The Sizzlin' Sirloin 5-cheese fajita skins. Real or fake?
Please repeat.
Sure thing. They are the Sizzlin' Sirloin 5-cheese fajita skins. Real or fake?
I mean, that's a pretty normal name. Yeah, we'll say it's real.
I don't know what counts for normal out in Cincinnati, but that is not a real menu item, Eileen. I'm sorry. No points on that one. All right, last one of the category. This one is Brad's. Brad's, please tell me if this is a real or a fake food item. The jalapeno bacon chutney glazed steak tips. Real or fake?
Those are real. I have no joke.
Brad, unfortunately, the only glazed tips at a Guy Fieri restaurant are on the man himself. That is a
Perfect
item.
setup for that joke. Would work.
You knew me well enough to see through the ruse.
I will lose 100 points to be the setup for that joke any day of the week.
Happy to be there. I'm glad we could work together again. All right, well, that's the end of that game, but that is not the last chance for our teams to earn some points because we got a little bonus round tacked on to the end of that. Now, before we started the round, we asked our audience at home to give us suggestions of foods that they might order at a restaurant. And we're going to put those suggestions to the test in a game that we're calling Dish Dash. And here's how this is going to work. Each team will be given the suggestion of a basic food item that you can find at a restaurant that somebody might want to order out. But here's the thing. We're going to channel our inner Guy Fieri's on this one. You're not just going to serve any basic, boring piece of food. You're going to gussy it up as best as you can in Guy Fieri style. And here's how. I'm going to give each team the name of a food item. Once you get your food item, we're going to put 60 seconds on the clock. You're going to get to leave the front of your webcam and run around whatever space you have to find you're going to need 3 ingredients to tack on to the food that we give you to make it Guy Fieri-able. So you're going to get 60 seconds to grab 3 ingredients and come back to build your menu item. But here's the thing. At least one of those ingredients cannot be edible. So we're looking for 3 ingredients to customize your food item to make it as appealing to a Guy Fieri audience as possible, but one of them cannot be an edible product. Make sense to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
So
All right, awesome.
6 total items. Everybody gets 3, or
You're
as a
each going to make
team?
your own. You're each
Okay.
going to make your own, and then when you guys come back, you're going to explain your dish to us, and our audience is going to vote on who did the best job. All right, so Al, put 60 seconds on the clock.
You got it.
Awesome. Ready? On your marks, get sets, goes. Let's make some Guy Fieri food.
What's the food?
Oh, I'm sorry. That would have made a lot more sense. Hey, Al.
I didn't know if you were gonna surprise them. Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Well, Chuck is off and running, and he doesn't even know what he's building yet.
I can hear you.
Al, what do we got for Chuck and Brad?
All right, Chuck and Brad get some chicken tenders.
Chicken tenders. You're going to gussy those up, and then 2 sketchy dames.
They got an omelette.
And an omelet. All right, ready, set, go. I got way too excited about this game.
Yeah, I didn't know if this was gonna be a surprise after. So I was.
Al, this is why we need you.
Yeah. So I'm anxious to
So,
see
Al-
what they come back with.
There's a Guy Fieri's in Foxwoods, which isn't too far from your neck of the woods.
I've
If you
actually
might go
I've
down
had
there.
the trash can nachos. That's how I knew they were real.
Why do they call them trash can nachos?
They are built inside an actual can. They are about 8 to 9 inches tall in this can, and then they lift the can off, and it just goes everywhere.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen duck in a can. I've seen Frito pie, which they serve in a
Almost
bag. so I
Picture
guess it's
picture
not
like
too
the thing that
similar.
you would light charcoal briquettes in,
Mhm.
and they build nachos in that, and then they
Built
lift it away.
nachos.
Yeah,
And
15.
you've had them? 15 seconds, thank you.
Yep, 15 seconds. I've not tried them. I've seen them.
Well, I think maybe looking at them is good enough.
Yeah.
But how are we looking on time?
5 seconds.
5 seconds left, everybody. 4, 3,
And
2, 1.
That's time.
All right, Allison, just under the wire. That is time. All right. So let's see what our 2 teams have concocted for their menus. Up first, let's start with Chuck and Brad. Chuck and Brad, your suggestion was chicken tenders. So how are you going to gussy up these chicken tenders? Let's start with Chuck. Chuck, what were your 3
All right.
ingredients?
First ingredient. A right Twix. It's a peanut butter
Specifically
Twix.
a right one.
Only a right one, though. Not the left one.
Okay.
And I think that you can add peanut butter to chicken tenders, and that makes sense. A little cookie crunch, right? Second ingredient, a left Twix. And I think it's just, double of what made the first one good. More peanut butter,
Right.
more crunch, that's better. And it's going to be so good that your cat is going to be coming for it. But you don't want to share with your cat. Cat deterrent spray, just so you can keep it for yourself.
worst tasting
right.
thing in the world.
Yeah. I love how Al's tried that. But so Chuck, if you had to give your dish a name on your menu, what would you call it?
I call it the double-sided Twix cat deterrent chicken tender special holiday meal of the century by yours truly, me, in parentheses, Guy Fieri.
Fantastic. If only you had grabbed a Kit Kat instead of a Twix, I feel like the names could have coalesced. But unfortunately, there was only Twix around. All right, let's move over to your partner, Chuck. I'm sorry, Brad. Brad, what do we have for your
Yes.
for your?
Well, it's the chicken tenders themselves are served on a tender photo. Tender
Oh my god.
so
That is
they're
adorable.
served on this.
Yes, that's the platter, right?
Reveal. It's a reveal.
Yes.
A
You
tender
don't know
reveal.
which friendship you're going to get until you finish the meal. Also, if you want your cat to be chill and to be like a tender, loving cat, you get some Feel Away Classic here. It's you aerate it around the room so the cats are calm.
Hey,
And
what is that? Is that like Xanax for your cat?
a little bit, yeah. But it's Xanax in the air for your cat.
You need a cat food deterrent and Xanax for your cat? What's going on here when I'm not
Because
around?
I didn't spend the $45 to get the aerator for this. So I've had this for 4 months.
Drugging your
I feel like you're sharing a room. I feel like we can have this conversation after the show. You got one more ingredient left, Brad.
Yeah, one more ingredient is melatonin.
Ooh.
Melatonin, because again, you want to feel kind of wrapped up and held and calm and comfortable.
Tell the truth. Is that for your cat? Is that for your cat?
You mashing up melatonin to put in your cat food?
I plead the fifth.
All right. And what do you call it, Brad?
I call it chicken TLC.
Just in
Aw.
TLC. I love it. Oh, that's adorable. All right. Well, great job, Chuck and Brad.
All right. Also,
Let's-
sorry, the cat just jumped on our serving tray.
Okay. Well, I mean, unfortunately, you've already picked your 3 ingredients, so you can't use the cat. But let's move over to Two Sketchy Dames. Two Sketchy Dames, what do you have for us? Allison, let's start with you.
Since the omelet is like a base of I believe French cuisine, my omelet will be gracefully draped across the French poodle.
Okay.
I love.
Yeah,
How avant-garde.
and it will be filled with Totina's party pizza, frozen still.
Excellent.
Gonna keep it frozen because I like the mix of like crunchy and soft and hot and cold.
Textural balance.
And then
French hot pocket.
yeah, and then on the side, just a scoop on the side of Jenny's salted caramel ice cream, which is salty and sweet. So it's a dichotomy of like hot and cold, soft and crunchy, salty.
You've got textures, you've got temperatures, you've
Yes.
got flavors, you've got
It's
sweet,
a
you've got savory.
deconstructed meal.
Yes.
Love it. And what do you call your dish?
Yeah, and I'm gonna call it the Mon Pari un petit omelette.
C'est bon. All right. Well, excellent work, Allison. All right, and last but certainly not least, Eileen, what do you have prepared for us on your lovely menu this evening?
Yes, thank you, Chef. What I have for you today, what I've prepared for you today, obviously, as we all know, omelet is a very fancy brunch meal, and no brunch is complete without some red wine. So I've brought with us the Bloody Cabernet, because that's what was handy, and as we all know, much like an omelet is all the rage at certain times of the season, the Girl Scout peanut butter patty is also something seasonal that people crave. So
Very
we put them
similar.
inside of it.
We call
Obviously.
them tagalongs in Cincinnati.
Yes. Well, we get both. We get both factories here, so we can have peanut butter or tagalong.
I'm sure, brag.
Right, I know. And I mean, to be fair, what's really important is that it's service with a smile, and so it will be served by the world's cutest waiter. Hello, I am your waiter, and I have brought your omelette and a snuggle. So obviously that dish would be called Sesame Omelette Street.
Fantastic. I can honestly say I was expecting the booze, was not expecting the puppet. So excellent job, Eileen. All right. Well, I think both teams did an amazing job, but it's not up to me. It's up to our audience at home. And here's what we're going to need you to do from the comfort of your own couches. Get those fingers ready, and you're going to vote for which team you think had the best menu items. Here's how you vote. If you think Chuck and Brad did the better job, then you're going to put the number 1 into the chat bar, and you're going to click send. If you think Two Sketchy Dames had the best answers and the best omelet tonight, then you're going to put the number 2 in the chat bar, and you're going to press send. So that's a number 1 for Chuck and Brad and a number 2 for Two Sketchy Dames. And we've got our chat bot ready to count up all of your votes, and whichever team gets the most votes is going to win 300 points. So get those fingers moving, get in the chat, vote for your favorites, and we're going to tally up those votes when we come back from a quick commercial break.
Will you also accept the poop emoji
It's Friday night.
for number 2?
You are feeling fresh. Ready to try something new.
It's been a while, but you're excited to get back in there.
The last time you did this, you were practically sick to your stomach. But not this time. This time you're prepared.
Tonight's the night. Don't choke, don't blow this. You're about to be full of
Anticipation. I'm not typically into this sort of thing, but it'll be worth it to get out of my comfort zone and try something new.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
And we're back. And a big thank you to the folks that bear with us for giving us that ad tonight. They're always hilarious. We look forward to having them on the show in a few weeks. We'll post a link to their page after the show tonight. So this brings us to round 3. And we have one more category left to go for our contestants this evening. But before we get to that, Al, did we get a tally on who won our Guy Fieri Dish Dash Challenge?
Believe it or not, it is exactly tied right now. I'm just watching.
Exactly tied. Well, then why don't we let that linger for a second? There's still time to vote, so we're going to let that hang. We'll check back in on that. But let's move into our next and last category for the evening tonight. Now, we mentioned the stimulus package and the coronavirus relief bill that we're currently waiting on this week, and we know it will pass, but it's just a matter of time. Well, one of the provisions in that coronavirus bill was for literally billions of dollars to be spent on small businesses. It's been a long year, it's been a hard year, and a lot of small businesses are struggling right now. And I think it's very important that we take a moment to acknowledge small businesses and help out local owners, because you never know which small business will make it all the way to becoming a huge corporation. I mean, it literally could be anybody. It's the American dream, isn't it? Well, we're going to spend this last category asking our contestants some questions about some small-time operators who ended up turning their business into major corporations in a category that we're calling down to business. So these are big companies with inauspicious starts. Now, this first question is going to go over to
Chris,
Chuck
we
and
got
Brad.
another final vote in, and the Two Sketchy Dames are taking it.
Two Sketchy Dames, congratulations. You just got 300 points. All right. So Chuck and Brad, this question is for you. This is for 300 points as well. Stealing will get you 150. This company's founder got started as a traveling salesman in the 1870s and had an idea that if he invented a disposable item, he could increase the likelihood of repeat customers, which he did, much to the dismay of many a barber shop. What was the company that he founded?
It's gonna be Combs?
Do you think maybe it's razors?
Razor blades? Oh, razor blades. Yeah,
like,
you're right.
like Gillette, right?
Yeah. Gillette, Mach 3,
Turbo, yeah.
vibrating.
Yeah, massaging head.
You want to go with Gillette?
Yeah, I kind of do. But, you know, it could have been Schick, but I think it's Gillette.
Schick. All right. Gillette.
Was that intentional? Shit.
Yes.
Final answer is Gillette.
I believe so, yes.
The originally called the American Safety Razor Company in 1901. It was created by King Camp Gillette. Gillette Corporation is correct for 300 points. All right, back over to Two Sketchy Dames. This one is yours for 300 points. Today, this company is loved by consumers for its high-tech home entertainment, but its roots began as a playing card company when it was founded in Japan in 1889. Once the playing cards stopped selling, they switched to toys before settling on more futuristic products. What is the name of the company?
Nintendo. Eileen, do you feel?
Thought it was Sony, but I don't know.
Oh.
Because now they're known for home entertainment system. Nintendo isn't.
Oh. Yeah. I guess you got your Sony PlayStations as well as other things.
But this is literally a guess. I thought we were coming on to do improv, and they're asking me questions.
Sure. We can do Sunny.
I am not strong in trivia, so.
I feel Nintendo is going to be more of a game toy kind of company.
Okay. Can you repeat the question?
Absolutely. It was a company loved for its high-tech home entertainment today, but its roots began as a playing card company when it was founded in Japan in 1889. Once the playing cards stopped being profitable, they switched to selling toys before settling on more futuristic products. What is the name of the company?
It's Nintendo. I feel fairly confident. I'll buy you
a couple seconds, then I do need an answer from you.
So
go ahead.
Okay, we're gonna say Nintendo.
Going with Nintendo?
Not when you say it like that.
You know, I hate to see friends bicker, but this time it worked out. Nintendo is correct for 300 points.
Yeah. So many
All right.
documentaries came out recently that have this whole thing about Nintendo starting as a playing card company beforehand. That I was like, I'm sure that one of you guys have seen that.
No.
But maybe not.
And I
Mario.
wrote the question, and I have seen none of them. So,
No.
so if that helps. All right, Chuck and Brad, this one is for you for 300. Founded in 1909, this company got its start when a traveling salesman selling baking powder decided to give out free gum to whoever bought his product. Well, eventually the gum turned out to be more popular than the baking powder, so he just sold that instead. What is the name of the company?
Can we just have the Nintendo question?
We already gave that one, Chuck, so
Yeah, but I knew the
unfortunately you got to
answer,
get this one.
so.
Great.
What do you think, Brad? Is it Big Red? Is it Wrigley? Is it Fruit Stripe? Is it the zebra? Which one is the zebra? Fruit Stripe?
Fruit Stripe, yeah. Stripes.
No, it's not Fruit Stripe.
Also, Big is owned by Wrigley. They're the same thing. So I get, if you want to think about like Bubblicious or Hubba Bubba or ones that have been around forever, or Pal.
Ow.
Yeah, Pal.
Pow.
When you play baseball,
Bubblicious,
it's
man.
Wrigley. It's Wrigley. Wrigley Co.
Yeah, Wrigley Field.
Yep. Wrigley is our final.
Final answer?
Yeah.
That is 100% correct. It is Wrigley Chewing Gum for 300 points. Great
I
job,
was
Chuck and
really-
Brad.
But tiny chiclets are the best gum.
What? I will come out there and I will murder you.
Hot take from Chuck and Brad. We might watch a friendship end tonight on our Dueling Duo show.
I enjoy
All right.
the cloves. I like the cloves gum. It's
Oh,
nice.
Ugh, all right, we'll talk after the show. All right, Two Sketchy Dames, this one is yours for 300 points. In 1835, this young man began working in Paris as a box maker and in time became the official box maker and packer for Napoleon III's wife, Eugene. He soon opened his own workshop and began selling a new design that was often knocked off by competitors, and his popularity remains today in the brand that still bears his name. What is the name of the brand that I'm talking about?
Boxes. A brand
got
of
his start as a box maker in Paris.
Napoleon keeps showing up in the show. I feel like this has a hidden Napoleon like agenda.
Technically, this is his grandson, but yes.
Oh,
It's just a Bonaparte agenda.
yes.
And it's not Santa Claus? It's not Santa Claus.
No, it's
okay.
not Santa Claus.
Yeah, I was just checking.
Just think of famous box makers. There's Tyson.
Sure.
There's Holyfield.
Right.
Who else, Brad?
I mean,
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Yeah.
his daughter Layla Ali. Let's
Mm.
be sexist.
The brown box man. The brown box, because they're brown
Can you
box.
give a succinct, like a summarized question?
Absolutely. This young man started his company in 1835 in Paris as a box maker, and as a box maker and packer for French royalty. He began selling a new design for his boxes that was so popular that it was often knocked off by his competitors, and eventually the brand became a modern brand that we all know today.
That's the summarized version, by the way.
Yeah, that is summarized. Wait, love
Really
it.
close.
I don't want to leave anything out because you never know what might help you get the answer right.
Oh,
I think
perfect.
Mr. Bubble Wrap. Is that?
William Bubble Wrap.
Double wrap.
Is it
A
Bubble-
couple seconds, then I do need an answer from you.
It's Bub L. Rap.
That's his name.
Yeah. Lazarus.
All right, I need an answer. I got to call time.
Kleenex. We'll go.
Okay,
I'm gonna go
Kleenex.
Kleenex.
Jean-Pierre Kleenex is your final answer.
Wee.
Unfortunately, Jean-Pierre Kleenex is not correct, which means Chuck and Brad, you can steal for 150 points if you think you know the name of the famous box maker whose brand we still sell today.
Could you give me a longer, extended version of the question?
Yes, so once upon a time, no.
More about Napoleon.
Chuck, how do you feel about Louis Vuitton as an answer?
A little overrated. Oh, as an answer. Box maker.
Yeah, and packer.
Packer. I think it's gonna have to do with the packing, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, and he talked about, he mentioned in the question that things being knocked off, and Louis Vuitton knockoffs are like,
Ooh.
Hey.
Or Coach.
yeah, but that's not a French name. Louis Vuitton.
Hey.
Cochet.
Louis Vuitton, let's go with it.
Yep. Louis Vuitton is our final answer.
Louis Vuitton, final answer. See, Brad listens to the question. Louis Vuitton is the correct answer. Stealing gets you 150 points.
Oh boy.
You're gonna give me some of your cat's ADHD medicine.
Yeah.
He needs some of that melatonin so he can focus up. All right. Last question. This one stays with Chuck and Brad. This is the last question of the category for 300 points. This company, founded by the Hassenfeld brothers in 1923, originally dealt in selling leftover fabric, which they used to make school supplies. Eventually, they expanded their product line to make kids' products for both work and play, and ultimately decided to just focus on play. What is the name of the company?
All right, so if it's fabric, I mean, Brad, so we're talking about manufacturers of toys like Hasbro or... Is it Hasbro?
Hassenfeld
Brothers. It's got its... Oh, Playmates, because they're brothers, they're mates, and they play.
They play together, yes.
All right, final answer, Hasbro.
Hasbro is correct for 300 points.
Good work, Chuck. You talked your way
There
through
you go.
that one.
See, that working together, you can get this problem solved. All right, well, that's the last category of the question. I'm sorry, that's the last question of the category. And looking at the scores right now, I have Two Sketchy Dames with 1,400 points.
Correct.
But in the lead right now with 2,150 points,
Correct.
I have Chuck and Brad. Now, that's a gap, but that doesn't mean the game is over, because right now we are about to head into the final round. And here is how this works. Let me do my math really quickly. So in front of me, I have a series of questions. Now, Two Sketchy Dames, you are currently behind by, I can't do math right now, 750 points. Al, back me up on that?
Yes.
Yes, okay, great.
That's right.
In front of me, I have a series of questions with a series of different point totals associated to them. There's a 500 point, a 750 point, and a 1,000 point question. Now, it is up to you to decide which question you want to choose. Now, you obviously can't take the 500 point question, but you could choose the 750 point, which would bring us into a tiebreaker, or the 1,000 point question, which would give you the lead. Now, if you get the question right, you would get the points, and we would proceed from there. If you get the question wrong, it means that Chuck and Brad would win the game. So it's up to you. Do you want to go for the 750 point question and a possible win by tiebreaker? Or do you want to take the 1,000 point question and force Chuck and Brad to have to answer one of the other two questions?
Is the 1,000 point one harder than the 750?
They are all harder based on the points that are allotted. So I won't say that they're easy. They're all very hard questions, but they are in a slightly harder version of each question based on the point total.
Are they all about Napoleon?
They all somehow have something to do with something that we talked about earlier in the game tonight.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
Allison, I defer to you. I'm fine to go 1,000 because they're
I would
not
say
people.
I'm just my 2 cents. If you go 750, you have a better chance of getting it right because it's a little bit easier, and then we get to play more. So that's more fun in 2 ways. It's up to you though.
I mean, that sounds like somebody who's afraid of losing.
We
I
are.
just love the fact that Chuck is on the show right now and he's having such a good time that he doesn't want it to
That
end.
is very sweet.
That speaks volumes.
So just for the sake of sportsmanship, let's do 750.
All right, for the 750 point question.
Thank you.
All right, Two Sketchy Dames, this is yours for 750 points, possibly the tying point value, and who knows, maybe even the game. Let's see what you've got. All right, your question. While today, this is about Nintendo. While today, Nintendo has cornered its fair share of the market selling their own game systems, their first foray into the gaming industry came when the company became the official distributor of this game console, the first in the world, developed in 1972. So I'm looking for the name of the first ever home video game console created in 1972, originally sold by the Nintendo Corporation.
Is it the Commodore? Is it Commodore 72?
Are you asking me?
I am just looking for a blink of, you have nothing?
No, I would say Nintendo Entertainment System because that's the one I had. I had the Duck Hunt, Track Meet, and original Super Mario.
Nice.
So like they're cool kids on the neighborhood block.
Yeah. but I know that's not the first. The Atari came before that, and before that was, I think, the Commodore.
I will point out in the question, I did say it is not made by Nintendo. They were the first company to sell. They had the distribution rights to this video game system that they did not make themselves.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the
I love it.
I'm only a nerd by marriage. So I'm gonna go. That's the best I got.
I love it.
So the Commodore.
The Commodore home video game system is your final answer.
Yeah.
Two Sketchy Dames. I am sorry, that is not the correct answer.
No.
The answer that we were looking for was built in 1972. It was called the Magnavox Odyssey.
Oh yeah, no,
The first ever home video game
I would not have
system.
gotten that.
No, that's tough. That's real tough.
Yeah.
They're not meant to be easy. That's why it's the final round. Well, unfortunately, Two Sketchy Dames, you didn't get the question, which means you didn't get the points, which means our big winner for the evening is Chuck and Brad. And a big congratulations to them. Chuck and Brad, we're going to get with you in just a second. But first, we just want to thank Two Sketchy Dames so much for coming on the show tonight. We hope you had a great time. It's so wonderful to see the two of you. You are obviously a fantastic duo. We couldn't have been more pleased to have you on the show this evening. But for those at home who have not seen you before, where can they see more of you? How can they find you? Do you have any events that are coming up that you'd like to plug for them?
Sure. If you go to our Facebook page, Two Sketchy Dames, you will see all of our videos. We did a whole series over the summer, once a week, a weekly, kind of like a late night show with lots of fabulous guests. And we have a gig coming up. If you're in the Cincinnati area and you want to see some live theater, outdoors, socially distanced and masked, we are going to be doing a cocktails and cabaret show at Cano's Bistro in Hamilton, Ohio, on March 19th.
All right, fantastic. And we have links to your Facebook page on our page from our previous post, but we'd be more than happy to put up any upcoming information that you have on our page. And again, thank you so much for coming on tonight. We really hope that you had a good time. We hope you come back sometime and join us again for another show.
Before they go, can you give us the 1,000-point question just so we can not be able to answer it and also look foolish?
I will do that after we sign off tonight because we are on a time crunch. I promise you, Chuck, there is a question coming afterwards. But
okay, cool.
Speaking of Chuck and Brad, congratulations on your big win this evening. And Chuck, we know you were having a great time tonight, but we really hope the two of you had a good time. We really appreciate you coming on tonight. And we don't like to send our winners home empty-handed. There is, in fact, a prize in store for you this evening. And I think he's back from wherever he just got stitched up from. And here to tell you what you've won, please welcome back Tomato Spritz.
It's all good, Chris. I'm doing well. Just trying to get these fingers moving. Chuck and Brad, congratulations. Your prize tonight is a 100-piece first aid kit from the fine people at Be Smart Get Prepared. Now, I will tell you, most of these pieces are Band-Aids, but it's perfect for a chef on the go or anyone doing two things at once. Be Smart Get Prepared. My mouth tastes like copper now.
Tommy, best of luck to you, and have a great night. We hope you safe travels out there. All right, Tomato Spritz, everybody.
Have a good night.
All right, well, and Chuck and Brad, that first aid kit is for you. Clearly, you are sharing the same space right now, so it'll come in handy for both of you.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, for those of us, for those who are watching tonight who have never listened to your podcast before, who aren't familiar with what you do, the floor is yours. Please tell people where they can see more of you.
You can go to chuckandbradpodcast.com. We do a podcast every week. It's kind of based in pop culture, movies, TV, music, but it's kind of from the viewpoint of people who are actively doing that stuff. I'm a filmmaker. That's my main job. I'm a writer. Brad does improv, and he also sits at a desk at UMass Dartmouth as a 9-to-5 stiff. So he talks about that once in a while.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in a band that is signed to a record label. So we talk about a lot of stuff like that. And every week, chuckandbradpodcast.com, we get together and we make it happen.
And you've been doing the podcast for how long now?
12 years this month.
12 years podcast vets. I love it.
Before
I
it was
listen
cool,
to it.
like you said.
It's yes, way before it was cool. Well, Chuck and Brad, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight, and a big thank you to everybody who's tuning in for the first time tonight at home. If you like what you saw, please make sure that you like and follow us. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, but you can find links to all of our socials at our personal website, quarantinethegameshow.com. We have all of our old sketches, and we are here every single Tuesday night with new teams, new content, new ads, new everything for your amusement. So we really hope you'll come back and join us again next Tuesday. And until we see you again, as we like to say every week, stay safe, stay sane, and take care of each other. Thank you all so much, and have a fantastic night.
Deuces, kangarooses.
Deuces, kangaroos.
No, yours is great. Yours is nice.
Great job, everybody.
Yeah, really good job.